Hello everybody, it is so good to see you. I hope you're doing well. So, for today's video, we are going to be doing a clay project, which to be honest, I really miss playing around with clay. I miss the feeling and I miss everything about it. And I know that I've been doing a lot of paper videos, so I think it's time to take a step back and bring back the clay. So while I was perusing at 5 and below, I noticed this Bumblebee jewelry dish. I feel like we can make that. So that's exactly what we're gonna be doing today, and I feel like it should be pretty easy because when I look at it, all we have to really do is make a bumblebee, make a dish, and combine them both together to make a Bumblebee jewelry dish. So yeah, I think it should be pretty easy, and I guess we'll find out. But before we go any further, please like and subscribe, especially if you like arts and crafts videos. And if you want to support me, check out my Etsy store, which is linked in the description box. And yeah, that's about it. So let's get to work. For this project, I will be using some Sculpey polymer clay, but you can use whatever clay you have on hand. As you can see, we are almost done with this pack of clay, so I'm gonna need to get some new ones very soon. I am going to start by cutting off a chunk of clay. You'll want a good amount for this project. Now I am just going to knead this until it becomes easier to work with. I then sectioned off 2 pieces from the big chunk of clay. The larger ball will be the bee's body, and the smaller one will be used for the wings. Using my pasta roller, I am going to flatten the big chunk of clay. If you don't have one, no worries. You can just use a rolling pin to roll your clay out evenly and smoothly. For this next part, you'll need some sort of dish. Place it on top of the rolled out clay and use a sharp tool to cut around it. The dish I'm using is perfect for baking. But if you don't have something like this, or if you're not sure which dishes are safe to bake with, you can just use some foil to create a ring. Place the clay on top of it and gently press down in the center to form a bowl shape. Since my dish is oven safe, I'm going to use this one. If you want that same ridged look, I'm using a tart pan. It's a baking pan with those pretty edges. However, you could create the same effect using your fingers and just pinching the outer layer. Setting aside the dish that we just made, we are going to work on the bumblebee next. Taking the bigger ball of clay, I am going to roll it into a big bean shape. As for the smaller piece of clay, we are going to roll this out into a flat shape using either a roller or a pasta roller like I have. If I'm being completely honest with you, this is probably the hardest part, which is making the wings for this bee. That's why I came up with 3 different ways to help you make the wings. The first option is to use an oval clay cutter. Just cut out the shape, gently fold it in half, and you've got a simple pair of wings. The second option I have is to just freehand the shape onto the clay. This is a little bit more difficult, but I actually use this method in the final result. If all else fails, just grab a piece of cardboard and draw your wing shape on it. Cut it out and use it as a stencil when cutting the wings from your clay. I'm going to use some oven-baked clay adhesive to attach the wings to the bumblebee. If you don't have any, you can just gently press the pieces together and blend the edges to help them stick. Just be sure to press firmly so they stay in place during baking. Now that the pieces are baked, we can move on to sanding. I'm using sandpaper to gently smooth the edges, especially where they're sharp. After sanding, I like to use a big brush to clean off any dust from the pieces. Next, I'm moving on to painting. I'll start with a base coat of white acrylic paint, which I applied twice. Once the base coat is done, we can move on to the body of the Bumblebee. I'll be using yellow acrylic paint for this, applying 2 coats as well. While the Bumblebee dries, I'm going to move on to the dish. For this, I will be using some black acrylic paint, and using the end of the paintbrush, I am just going to dab on some polka dots. I then painted on the edges of the dish. While the dish dries, I'll go back to the Bumblebee. I'm using the same black paint to add 2 lines on its body. I was originally going to leave the bottom of the dish white, but then I thought black would look better, so I went ahead and painted it black. The last details for the Bumblebee are the eyes and the mouth. I also added some blush using chalk pastels. Here is what both the pieces look like once the paint job is done. To seal everything in, I'll be using matte Mod Podge. I generously applied it all over the pieces with a paintbrush. Once everything is sealed and dry, I used a glue gun to attach the Bumblebee to the center of the dish. And voila! Our Bumblebee jewelry dish is complete. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Bye!